We all need and crave more peace in our lives, don't we? Especially that elusive inner peace. So why is it so difficult to find? Why is it so difficult to achieve? Well, we spend so much time focusing on external factors, financial pressures, family pressures, work pressures, life pressures, pressures to be a better person, pressures to be somebody that we're not currently. We're always working towards something else. And that's especially true for introverts. I think as us introverts, we rarely feel like we're good enough. We always want to be someone or something else other than what we are. Well, you've heard, I'm sure, that true peace, contentment, happiness, joy comes from within, and that's true. But what nobody ever talks about is actually the source of why you feel discontentment, why you don't feel happy, and why you don't feel at peace with your life and who you are. That's exactly what I'm going to talk through, and help you understand in this video. So do you ever find that no matter what you try, it's really difficult to switch off? You find yourself procrastinating, overthinking, and avoiding. It's almost like you've got your brain and yourself, and your brain just won't switch off. If only you could control this mind, like you're separate to your brain, then everything would be okay. If this would shut up, then you might find more peace and happiness. Well, as I mentioned, our external worlds are one part of it. What's going on around us, of course, it affects us, but we can find peace within us, but we just need to understand where it went wrong in the first place. So to prove to you that the external doesn't always have to be perfect, the external world doesn't have to be peaceful for you to feel inner peace. I've come hammock camping. Every so often I have to get away from everything because it does become too much for me. But I can't escape me. And I was sat here earlier, I went for a walk and I created another video, and I was overthinking. I felt stuck, I felt annoyed, I felt frustrated, I felt angry, I felt everything but not peaceful. And I was kicking myself because I thought, well, you've come here to find some peace and yet you're not feeling peaceful. What's going on here? And ultimately it was because of what was happening within, because those stories that I tell myself, that I'm not good enough, that I'm not good enough to create this YouTube channel, that I'm not good enough to help people, to teach people, to take them by the hand and guide them, those stories are still replaying in my mind, my body, my nervous system. So we need to understand where that comes from. And this is early years stuff, because many, many moons ago, if you're watching this and you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, then we got the message, especially as introverts, that we weren't okay as we are. Introverts are created from environmental failings as a child. So I always use the example, I was extremely shy. I was very, very quiet as a child. Very uncomfortable, very awkward around people. And instead of that being embraced and nurtured, it was shamed. It was treated like I was broken, there was something wrong with me. Now, had that have been welcomed and made to feel okay, and I was made to feel safe with that, then it wouldn't have been an issue as an adult. But because it was shamed, because I felt so shameful of being quiet and shy, I disconnected from those feelings and emotions. I shut those off. So I thought, well, okay, being quiet and shy, being an introvert, as I now understand it to be, is not okay. So I should be confident. I should be stronger in every sense of the word. I should be more outgoing. But I wasn't. That wasn't my true nature. So I spent my whole adult life trying to become somebody that I wasn't. I was this person, and I was okay with that. But the people around me, my mum, wasn't okay with that. She felt that reflected poorly on her as a person and with her stuff. And this isn't about blame. This is just about recognizing where it comes from. So I then unconsciously believed that confident people are the way to be. And I battled with alcohol, with binge drinking, because I just couldn't be confident. But I learned then that as an adult, actually, once I stopped shaming myself for these behaviors, shaming myself for being quiet and shy and whatever it is, and you may resonate with this, as soon as I made my peace with that, and actually instead of rejecting that part of me, I embraced it, I welcomed it, I loved it, I treated it with the kindness and care that it deserved from an early age. And all of a sudden it was integrated back into me. And it's not that I became less introverted, that label just kind of disappeared. I just became John. I was then who I am, and that's somebody who's sometimes quiet and shy. I was going to say shyet, shyet. Sometimes quiet. I can't speak. Sometimes quiet, sometimes shy, but also extroverted. And interestingly, that my mum would shame that because that was too much for her. So I was really torn about who I was. But the point of this is that those personality traits, I guess, are formed at a very early age, and the stuff that's welcomed and embraced and supported are strengthened. But equally, when you're shamed, then you disconnect, you cut off from those parts of you. And that's, as an introvert, what's happened. So you spend your whole life not feeling that who you truly are, your true nature, is okay. It's not safe to be that person. So how could you ever feel at peace? So I know when I'm anxious or stressed, I just check, and this is my invitation to you. When you feel like you need more peace, you need something, it's just to sit and be with that part of you that you're potentially avoiding. I basically have made peace with those parts that I cut off from. And I think that's probably the key takeaway for this video. As an introvert, we shame ourselves over those parts that we dislike most. And you'll probably, if you're watching this video, there are parts of yourself that you hate, that you really dislike. And if that's okay, let me know in the comments below. I will 100% reply to that. So the key as an adult now is to recognize that that is who we are, that is our true nature, and that's okay. That's beautiful as it is. That's who we are. You know, who I am is 50% who I've become as an adult and 50% who I hated, what I loathed about myself when I was younger. And that's what you need to do. And that's how we find inner peace. We just make peace with the parts of us that weren't allowed, that weren't okay, that didn't get the love and care and kindness that they truly deserved, and you deserve now as an adult, the other end of this camera. And if you'd love to know more about this stuff, it's actually developmental trauma, then I invite you to watch this video next. Have a beautiful day. Big love, John.